Hey everybody, it's Casey Williams. You know, with rare exception, Buick has long stood for refined style and attainable luxury. They've also been really well known for their wagons, people movers over the years, whether it's the classic station wagons or the Buick Enclave. And the vehicle we have this week is probably the best of the best. It's the 2025 Buick Enclave Avenir. Let's go have a look at it. Buick's heritage really has a lot of concept car styling if you look over all the years. And I think that's really true of the Enclave as well. In fact, much of the front came from the recent Wildcat electric vehicle concept. And I think it works really well when you're talking about a sports car or a three-row crossover. And it's things like the grille and the big mouth of the grille, and I really like that. You got the driving lamps up above, LED headlamps here. So it's got a really aggressive face and a really pretty face. And again, I think it's very memorable as well. I love the new Buick logo. They've kind of reimagined it for the modern age. I think it looks really good there too. Come along the side, you really start to get a sense of the proportions of this vehicle. This is the Avenir, so it's the luxury trim. You get the 22-inch nickel wheels, a lot of nickel trim around the vehicle as well. It looks really classy. And this is a big vehicle. There's no disguising the fact it's a big vehicle. But I think the designers did a nice job with just nice creases in the body sides and just the way the rear fender kind of flares up. I like the window line here as well. Nice chrome detailing. Works out really well. Come around the back. And I think the design is, as much European as it could be. I think it looks really sleek, looks really elegant, but I think it's very upscale as well. I like kind of the smoke tail lamps, and you can see the tail lamps coming right here as well. Logo I think looks really good as well. Power hatch. Down below you've got the cover for the trailer hitch. So again, doesn't affect the design at all if you're not using it, but that's really there and available. Coming inside, lots and lots of space. There is plenty of space in here for 6 passengers. A little tighter in the third row. Might be a little better suited for kids. But, adults getting to dinner is not too bad. But what I really also like is the control panel here. So look at the left side. Power down the third row. And in the middle row, there's a button for that as well. So very easy to pop the seats down. If you're trying to get luggage in here, trying to get your bicycles in here, trying to get sports equipment, whatever you need, easy to get inside. I really like what the designers did on the interior of the Enclave. The Enclave has been a very beautiful vehicle inside. This is now the 3rd generation of it. Each one of it's gotten progressively more opulent, a little more beautiful, a little more stylized, and I like this. The Enclave is the only Buick that's actually assembled in the United States. The rest of Buicks are either assembled in China or they're assembled in South Korea. So, and most of the sales are in Asia as well, in China particularly. So there is an Asian influence on the interior, but I think it works really well and just kind of gives you that concept car feeling. And let's just start with the dash design. You got a 30-inch wraparound screen for the gauges and for your infotainment system. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Just sits here on top of the dash. I love the layering on the materials. I like the kind of the pinpoints here in the material, the stitching. It's really pretty. Kind of the aluminum. It's plastic, but it looks kind of aluminum. Again, just lots of beautiful details. I love this kind of bronzy look here on the console. And even the speaker grills for the Bose sound system. This has the 16-speaker Bose Performance sound system in it, but you got aluminum grills. And they're really pretty. And I gotta say this too. I like the fact there's actually color in here. There's blue. I like the blue on the steering wheel, I like the blue on the dash, I like the blue trim. And being the Avenir trim, you also get a lot of other little stitching details too, like the seats, the patterns in the seats, the blue piping, stitching here on the seats as well, stitching on the console. Everything just looks, every detail was looked after. And you don't always get that feeling in a vehicle like this, but this one it does. Some of the other comforts, it's pretty cold outside today. It's about 20 degrees. We're getting ready to have probably 8 or 9 inches of snow today. But the cabin is just very comfortable. You got heated and ventilated seats in the front. These are also massage seats. You got a heated steering wheel. It feels really nice today, to be honest with you. I like that as well. We talked about the Bose sound system. Really crisp. Just fills the cabin full of sound. You got the dual pane panoramic sunroof up above. The rear seats, again, they fold down for space, but they're also very comfortable when they're up. You got captain's chairs in the middle. And everything just works really well. So you can connect to Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wirelessly. You've also got wireless charging here. The console, it's standard. So once you get connected, just throw the phone in the console, you're there. Volume controls here. I don't love when you got to kind of flip through the screens to get to the tuning. I do like there's a volume knob. I wish there's also a tuning knob just to make it a little bit simpler. USB ports for charging, and just lots of smart storage space. Fuck. Well, those of you who are old enough to have driven classic Buicks back in the 1980s, 1990s are really going to get a kick out of this. So I get it in the car. and I'm wanting to sweep the windshield and get the snow off of it. And I come over here and I flip the switch, and apparently I put the windshield wipers into neutral because they have put the gear selector back here on the stock, which is kind of cool. And it's kind of old style with the old column shift. To put it in drive, you pull it back, flip it down, goes into drive. There's park, and the neutral's in the middle. So I think it works out really well. It gets it out of the console, saves some space, and it's pretty intuitive after you use it once. Which also means another old school thing from General Motors is the windshield wipers are back over here with the turn signal stock instead of being on the right side over on the left. You can press it once to sweep the windshield, press it twice to wash it, all the intermittent, all that stuff's here too as well. So again, kind of cool, kind of a reimagination of the old school controls. Put it in drive and go for a drive. Well, if you're in the market for a luxurious three-row crossover, I've got to assume that you're either going to do a lot of highway driving, you have kids, or probably both. And this vehicle is really set up well to do that. First of all, lots of passenger space. You got the captain's chair to keep the kids separated. Fold down the third row, got all your luggage in here. But it's really when you get on the highway that you recognize what a comfortable, pleasant vehicle this is. And a couple of things to start. This has active noise cancellation, so the interior is super quiet. It also has the different drive modes. So you can put a normal mode, and it just kind of wafts down the highway, has an electronic suspension system, real-time changes the damping on it. So in tour mode, it's just real comfortable. Put it in sport mode, stiffens it up just a little bit. You're not going to fling this thing into a corner on a 2-lane road probably, but it does behave itself quite well, whether it's just a couple people traveling or you have the whole family aboard. So that's really nice. Let's talk about the power. Classic Buicks back in the old days, the old station wagons, had V8 engines in them. Even recent Enclaves had 3.6-liter V6s. This one, they went an entirely different way. It has a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So you say, oh my God, a 4-cylinder engine in a big 3-row crossover. But wait, 328 horsepower, 326 pound-feet of torque. So plenty of power to move this big vehicle down the road. And with kids aboard, that's not a problem at all. Gas mileage isn't all that much better than the old classic station wagons. You do have almost 200 horsepower more than like a 1990 Buick wagon, but fuel economy not great. 19 miles per gallon in the city, 24 highway. I guess 24 highway and a big 3-row crossover isn't terrible, but you'd think with a Turbo 4 you'd do a little bit better. But plenty of power, very comfortable, very easy to drive. I've long been a big fan of Buick. I like the style, it looks really elegant, and I also like it's kind of an unpretentious luxury. And this vehicle really does exhibit that. It has everything you would want in an Acura, a Lexus, or a Cadillac, but at a little more attainable price. You're going one for nothing, but you might actually go for this. But the Enclave, being honest, isn't a cheap vehicle. It starts at $45,000. But for a 3-row crossover, that's not bad. This one, everything in it, Avenir trim, Bose sound system, Super Cruise, all of it, you're just over $65,000. Again, if you compare that to the luxury brands, I think you'll find some pretty good value. Well, next week, we'll have another fun car. Until then, storm forward.